Welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. The federal government has described as unrelenting its commitment towards ensuring that all Nigerians have access to affordable, efficient, and equitable healthcare services without any risk of impoverishment. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this at the 2019 presidential parley with participants of the Senior Executive Course 41 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has details.
After a series of lectures, brainstorming sessions, as well as study tours within and without Nigeria that lasted 10 months, participants of the Senior Executive Course 41 of the National Institute are here to present their report to the President on funding universal healthcare delivery in Nigeria. The theme was thoroughly researched at the instance of the Nigerian leader in furtherance of his desire to fundamentally transform the healthcare sector and improve the well-being of the citizens.
I can inform Mr. President confidently that this report is a product of a thoroughgoing and painstaking engagement with relevant stakeholders and critical analysis of the issues and challenges in funding universal healthcare in Nigeria. It is our prayer that government will adopt many of the usable recommendations as part of the ongoing efforts at making healthcare accessible and affordable to all citizens.
Professor Galadima is, however, worried that despite being Nigeria's apex policy and strategy think tank, NIPS is under-patronized and underutilized, saying ministries, departments and agencies rarely consult with the institute in developing their policies and strategies.
Let me reaffirm the commitment of the National Institute to always work in the best interest of our great nation and its people.
President Muhammadu Buhari thanked the participants and indeed the Institute for the good work being done towards supporting national development aspirations. He described the findings and recommendations of the Executive Course 41 participants on funding universal healthcare delivery as very innovative and useful.
I assure you that the Ministry of Health and all relevant agencies will be directed to review this submission and ensure its integration into our ongoing policies and programs. Nigeria is signatory to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and is committed to achieving the universal health coverage aspiration by 2030.
The president, who used the opportunity to congratulate the National Institute on its 40th anniversary, promised the continued support of his administration towards addressing prevailing challenges.
There is no doubt that the Institute, despite its funding challenges, has discharged its responsibilities as the nation's apex health think tank.
During the presidential parley, the participants, as well as the board and management of the institute, formally expressed appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari for selflessly steering the ship of the Nigerian state back on course from what they described as very murky waters. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
After just 2 months as President of the United Nations General Assembly, Professor Tijani Mohamed Bande has said the new vision of the United Nations on global peace and security, among others, is enhancing the image of the organization in the eyes of the global community. Professor Bande said this while on a visit to the Minister of Foreign Affairs as part of his official engagements in Nigeria. Usman Aliyu has details.
This is more than just a visit. It is a mission by the United Nations to project how countries such as Nigeria can address global challenges on peace and security, education, poverty eradication, climate change, as well as women and youth inclusion in the contemporary development agenda. President of the United Nations General Assembly, Professor Tijani Bandi, acknowledges Nigeria's achievements, describing the feat as a serious success, particularly in the fight against terrorism.
The United Nations system has supported the effort of Nigeria in dealing with the regional problem of Boko Haram. And we are glad that, by all accounts, we are seeing light at the end of the tunnel. And we commend the efforts of Nigeria for leading the other countries in the region to come together under whatever platforms are possible.
The support Nigeria is getting from the United Nations in social and economic sectors have been enormous, and this kind of platform provides the opportunity to assure the paramount global organization that the federal government is seriously working to realize its development vision.
Your vision is one that this country and this government identifies with, and it also responds to our priorities as a government. So we will work hand in hand with you to achieve those goals.
United Nations General Assembly is one of the 6 principal organs of the United Nations in which all member nations have equal representation. In Abuja, Usman Aliu, NTA News.
The All Progressives Congress says the governing party is now stronger, united, and genuinely focused on delivering its promise of taking Nigeria to the next level. This came to light after the National Caucus meeting of the party presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
The National Caucus meeting, the first since the conduct of the 2019 elections, lasted about 4 hours behind closed doors. In attendance were President Muhammadu Buhari, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, presiding officers of the National Assembly, members of the National Working Committee, and other chieftains of the governing party from across Nigeria. The participants who reviewed the last general and subsequent elections in Nigeria take pride in the performance of the party so far, which they described as fulfilling and reassuring.
The APC is much more stronger, having regard to what we witnessed in Kogi and Bayelsa election. It's a clear indication that the APC is waxing stronger and stronger by the day. And come 2023, our performance will be much more better than the 2019 election, because there is a ray of hope in the horizon.
It's a very timely and a very good meeting. We discussed extensively on the issue of our party due process, so that we will be in strict compliance with the constitution of our party. And we are assuring Nigeria that APC is getting more stronger daily.
Just only a few days ago, the elections of Kogi State and Bayelsa was won. That's a mark of strength. And that shows that the party is still acceptable to our people, and the Nigerians are happy with the party. And I'm convinced that the party is more committed and more dedicated to help build a strong party that will deliver the dividends of democracy to Nigerians.
The national chairman of the party, Adam Oshomole, described the meeting as critical as the year comes to an end. He enumerated some of the major issues discussed at the meeting by stakeholders.
Our financial statements for previous years, the budget for next year, issues that arose during and after the election, and current outcome of various cases that went to court. And the one we won, the one we lost, and going forward, issues in some states where we have disagreement and how to resolve disagreement. I think that is it. And it went very well.
Decisions taken, he said, will be ratified at the National Executive Committee meeting. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Now a bit of politics. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has fixed 30th November 2019 for the conduct of the supplementary and rerun election for Kogi West Senatorial District and Ajaokuta Federal Constituency. A statement by INEC National Commissioner for Information, Festus Okoye, assures the people of Kogi West and the contestant that the collation procedures shall be in line with extant guidelines for collation at the supplementary polls, and the commission will be fair to all. The list of affected registration areas and polling units will be uploaded on the Commission's website before the election. The supplementary and rerun election for Kogi West Senatorial District became necessary following the margin in votes between the two top contenders. Smart, DME of the APC, scored 80,118 votes, while Dino Melaye of the PDP scored 59,548, with registered voters of 144,248. The difference stands at 20,570 votes. The Nigerian Army War College is to upscale basal solutions for the nation's emerging security challenges. This was highlighted by the Minister of Defense, Bashir Magashi, at the graduation course 3 of the institution. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has more for us.
Army War College Nigeria.
This signifies the conferment of the fellowship of the prestigious Premier Army War College on these participants after 33 weeks intensive learning. The Army War College, established in 2017, is focused on developing the capacity of officers from the military, paramilitary and intelligence agencies in operational art, war management and strategic skills.
As today's operational level commanders, we constitute the nucleus of all security operations as it is in the level that surfaces between tactical and strategic level.
The 2019 Course 3 had 66 graduates, with 2 allied officers from Cameroon and Congo. Colonel Oweshuiga of the Nigerian Army emerged the best graduate. From the Nigerian Army War College in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
A federal high court sitting in Abuja has deferred ruling on the bail application of the former chairman, Pension Reforms Task Team, Abdulrasheed Maina. Justice Okonabang predicated his decision on the unwillingness of both parties involved in the matter to proceed without Maina's medical report, or Labo Diario reports.
The trial of Abdulrasheed Maina was slated for continuation this Thursday. He arrived in the court, aided in working by officials of the Nigeria Correctional Service. The proceedings began with the prosecution counsel, Salisu Abubakar, indicating readiness to commence the trial. Francis Oronsaye, counsel to Abdulrasheed Maina, called attention to pending bail application and the medical report of his health condition being expected from the Nigeria Correctional Service. The prosecution objected, arguing that since the said medical report was yet to be furnished on the court, the trial should continue. The second defense counsel, Adeola Adedipe, insisted that the court must conduct findings on Maina's health condition, or else the court's decision will be nullified at the appeal courts. The presiding judge, Justice Okonabang, took exception to this submission. He nevertheless went ahead to adjourn proceedings to Monday, the 25th of November, for ruling on the bail application.
The court even made an order for the Deputy Comptroller General of Nigerian Correctional Services to come with a medical report ascertaining the health status of the first defendant, which unfortunately is not here today. So it's not proper and fair to say we are frustrating the case.
Meanwhile, a short adjournment was observed during the proceedings to attend to Maina when he became ill in the courtroom. In Abuja, Olabo Darewa, NTA News.
A sum of 24 billion naira in total comprehensive income was made the first 6 months of 2019 by the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority. And the group, in its presentation at the National Economic Council meeting, says under the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund, it intends to complete the second Niger Bridge, the Abuja to Kano Highway, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and the Mambila Power Project. The projects are to cost 2.5 trillion naira, while council resolved to invest an additional $250 million to the Sovereign Investment Authority and also constitute a committee to consider how a portion of the pension fund can also be leveraged into investment for the NSIA. Over now to State House correspondent Jide Onifade for more on this and other deliberations at the council's meeting.
So many issues for the day, and one after the other, the issues were attended to by the council. For example, a memorandum on the solid minerals sector, stressing the need for improved synergy between the federal government and the state government. Minister of Solid Minerals and Steel Development, Olumile Adigite, presented the memorandum in relation to fiscal governance of the solid minerals sector and seek council's support on the need to respect the provisions of the Constitution and the Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act 2007. Governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, briefed the press on his requests.
There should be a full-time engagement of the communities to avoid mistakes made in the oil sector. In summary, the Governor of Ekiti State, Chairman of the Governors Forum NGF, shall constitute an ad hoc committee involving governors to engage with the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel to find ways of addressing all the issues.
Managing Director of the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, Uche Oji, gives an update on the transactions of the authority in 2018 and part of 2019.
NSIA and its group made a profit total of 44.3 billion naira in 2018, and so far in 2019, as at the first 6 months of 2019 for the period ending June 30th, the NSIA updated the council that they have made 24 billion naira of profits so far.
Another business of the day, the council resolved to constitute an ad hoc committee with Governor El Rufai of Kaduna State as chairman and governors of the 6 geopolitical zones who are currently serving in the board of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company to review the status of the ownership structure of the power distribution companies. Representatives from the National Council on Privatization and the Bureau of Public Enterprises will also form part of the ad hoc committee. Imo State Governor Emeka Ihedioha briefed the press on this and updates on the nation's accounts.
Only one excess crude account balance as at 20th November 2019 stands at 324,539,031.51.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo equally briefed the council on the progress on single window steering committee and the Apapa traffic task team. Governor Muhammad Badaru Abubakar of Jigawa State is also to join the team. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Thanks for staying. Jennifer Igwe is standing by with stories from our Lagos Network Center. Hello, Jennifer.
Thank you, Lydia, and welcome to Lagos. Now we'll start with an update on the fire at Surulere, Lagos. Now, victims of the incident are counting their losses and are taking stock of the extent of the damage caused by the fire disaster. Thomas Udbetere reports that the cause of the inferno is yet to be ascertained.
A visit to the scene of the fire incident, which destroyed property worth millions of naira in Surulere area of Lagos, showed business owners, workers, sympathizers, security agents, and other safety regulatory agencies assessing the extent of damage.
We lost every damn thing here. A lot of computers, a lot of this. We lost documents, everything. I don't even know how to count it in million. We lost and lost and lost.
So now a lot of property, individual business, churches, everything lost. And if you look at this building is an old building. You understand? So I thank God anyway. In all things God said we should give him thanks. I thank God for everything.
They've really lost a lot.
They really lost a lot. It has run into millions or even billions of naira. Because, you know, we're in the festive period. So a lot of people have stocked their shops in order to make festive sales. So it's really a great loss.
Some of the victims were seen taking home items that were not destroyed by the fire, as they called on government and other relevant agencies to come to their aid.
So we are calling government to come to our rescue in due time. Not even, they should hasten the helping us, but we cannot do it on our own.
But we thank God no life was lost, his property. So we beg for government to come to our aid to see how they can help us stand to our feet again.
The cause of the fire incident was yet to be ascertained as at the time of filing this report. In Lagos, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
Now, major players in the construction industry are proposing the reform of procedures and processes in the sector in line with the international best practices for sustainable economic growth. Dr. Oguyemi reports that this was at a forum in Lagos.
Construction industry is an important sector that contributes greatly to the economic growth of any nation. The industry is also described by experts as a driver of growth in other sectors. Adapting to the impending change in the global economy towards developing the Nigeria's construction industry involved the convergence of professionals in this hall, charting a way forward for the construction industry.
We're calling attention of our leaders that look, how do we go? How do we proceed? Should we take it lightly, or we also be progressive about our plans towards changing world order?
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu remarked that the nation's economy would benefit more from the international community if the industry can improve on its productivity.
As a developing nation, there's a strong imperative to toe the line of nationalism as a strategy to stimulate economic growth through development of local industries, increased productivity, job creation, and wealth generation.
New members, including a staff of NTA Property and Investment Company, were inducted at the forum. In Lagos, Dr. Oguyemi, NTA News.
Now, the three-day All-Africa Music Awards, AFRIMA, continued in Lagos with performances from notable music artists from the continent. Uzezi Arure brings us an update on the ongoing event in Lagos.
This is the 6th edition of the All-Africa Music Awards, AFRIMA 2019, the annual event that brings together African music talents from all African regions to showcase their talent and celebrate the Africanness in them. The All-Africa Music Awards, AFRIMA, promotes African cultural heritage around the continent by rewarding and celebrating musical creativity and works of talented African artists.
AFRIMA unites not just the entertainment celebrities, but also it has united industries.
AFRIMA, African artists from across the continent came out to support, and I'm blessed to be on the stage.
And I think it's an award that should be given a lot of support.
The 2019 edition of the awards hosted musical stars at the AFRIMA Music Village, where a festival-style outdoor music concert held at Agege Stadium, with performances from nominees and guest artists. The All-Africa Music Awards was established by the International Committee of AFRIMA in collaboration with the Africa Union, AU. The 2019 edition is expected to round off this Saturday. In Lagos, Uzezi Arure, NTA News.
Thank you, Uzezi. And that's a contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues with Lydia in Abuja. Lydia, back to you.
Many thanks, Jennifer. Moving on now. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the renewal of the appointment of Mr. Aliu Aziz as Director General of the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, for a second term. A statement signed by the General Manager Operations Corporate Communications of NIMC, Abdulhamid Umar, indicates that the letter of renewal conveyed by Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, states that the President enjoins the DG to continue with the good work he is doing and take NIMSI to the next level in consonance with the federal government's doctrine of integrity, transparency, and accountability. The administration of criminal justice in Nigeria is taking a leap forward with a proposition for the introduction of jury service into the nation's judiciary. Deborah Agbola was at a roundtable review of the proposed bill by the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption and the Jury Movement in Abuja, seeking the proposition of jury service bill.
The judicial system, among others, entails the incorporation of adversary citizens into legal system in determination of cases before the court. In this instance, the jury guides the judge in taking objective decision by examining the presented facts from multiple views, making it the people's court.
Situation in which you have 12 men of a reasonable background, in the sense that they are people who represent strata of community, who have a sense of fairness and justice.
For us who are supporting this government in the fight against corruption, all options are on the table.
I think the citizens should support it, especially for trial of serious cases like corruption, kidnapping, terrorism, and some kind of heinous crimes like rape and other sexual violence.
Seated here are the experts who reviewed the proposed bill for jury system in Nigeria and are optimistic that its introduction will not only enhance integrity of justice administration in the country, but also fast-track justice dispensation. However, this participant has contrary opinion.
I believe that we don't need it.
Whatever the views are, there is the belief that the harmonization of the proposed bill will open a new vista in the country's judiciary. Deborah Agbola, NTA News.
Time now to join Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachukun for the trending stories from our Kaduna Network Center. Hello, Suleiman.
Thank you very much, Lydia, and welcome to Kaduna. The National Council on Environment has spent 4 days in Kaduna analyzing more than 60 memos containing ideas and innovation aimed at mitigating environmental challenges in the country. Under this arrangement, federal government is coming up with a robust plan for planting 25 million trees across the nation. Abdullahi Muhammad has the details.
Welcoming the host, it was time for the business of the day, and the Minister of Environment took to the podium. He told the members of the National Council on Environment that there is no doubt that climate change is real, and Nigeria is not isolated from its consequences. Desertification, erosion, environmental pollution, and flooding top the list. But the minister observed that there is light at the end of the tunnel, as the ministry is set to plant 25 million trees, and the Niger Delta remediation work is on top gear.
Some places you dig maybe as little as 2-3 meters, and there are places where they have to dig up all the way down to about 7 to 9 meters to excavate that soil, take it to a place where it's called biocell.
But a lasting solution to the multidimensional challenges of environment could be found embedded in the theories forwarded by Professor Ibrahim Lawal Bashir. He said taming flood waters and channeling it to areas of need will solve the menace of erosion, desertification, and even the kind of environmental pollution found in the Niger Delta.
Once you're able to lessen the velocity with which flood comes from the north, or you channel this water, would eventually otherwise end up in the Niger Delta. You said the Niger Delta.
While the professor focuses on the environment, Senator Hassan Hadija is emphasizing on tapping the potentials of the sun as a means of mitigating global warming.
If you sign an agreement for solar power today, it's fixed for 25 years because the sun is free.
The 13th National Council on Environment meeting was a rendezvous that culminates into a think tank, bringing to the table a variety of ideas waiting for action. In Kaduna, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, has responded to a clarion call to salvage education from total collapse with the renovation of Ongor Sarki Primary School in Kaduna Metropolis. The gesture was a payback as he was a product of the school.
A show of appreciation on the remodeling of the LEA primary school in Gorsarki, Kaduna by an alumnus of the school, the Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tor Yusuf Baratai. The entire school blocks from Nursery 1 to Primary 6 have been remodeled, reconstructed and equipped with state-of-the-art facilities conducive for learning and teaching.
Thank you, they have found my school very well.
The project is a payback to the primary school, which is an alma mater to the Chief of the Army Staff, having obtained his elementary education there.
Having known the essence of learning, particularly reading books, that he donated this about 1,000 copies of this book, The Legend of Baratai, so that ab initio we could inculcate the culture of reading by encouraged and being guided to also remember the schools we passed through.
With the conducive environment, with the facilities, modern facilities available to the school, we believe we are going to, inshallah, make a world of difference.
If fully maintained, observers say the edifice will stand the test of time and benefit generations of pupils like the old structure did in the past.
Tertiary education has received another boost in Jigawa State as the state will soon have the first private university established in Majia, Taura local government area of the state. Sandra Pius reports that a team from National Universities Commission has visited the site to assess facilities preparatory to its take-up.
Although the proposed Khadija University Majia is yet to commence academic activities, it is already providing job opportunities for the hundreds of youth sited at the site. The proprietor of the proposed university, Musa Adamu Majia, assured that when completed, the university will accommodate all classes of people from all walks of life. The inspection visit by the National Universities Commission team is to assess the level of work and commitment at the proposed university site. The NUC delegation assessed the quality of the completed and uncompleted structures to ensure compliance with best practices. After the inspection, the NUC team and the project implementation committee visited the palace of the Emir of Ringim, Alhaji Saidi Abubakar Mahmoud.
The parties here prepare our courtesy call and inform the Royal Highness that this is a project coming under your domain, and NUC, on behalf of our Executive Secretary and the Honorable Minister, we are soliciting for assistance and recognition to this your subject.
The Royal Father says, aside providing quality education for all, the project will also contribute to the socio-economic development of the Emirate and the state at large. Sandra Pius, NTA News.
And that does it from Kaduna Network Center. It's back to you, Lydia, for more stories on the Nationwide.
Many thanks, Suleiman. The Federal Road Safety Corps is clamping down on its corrupt personnel in line with its renewed strategy of addressing corruption in the Corps. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that as a first step, about 180 personnel of the Corps are facing different prosecutions for professional misconduct. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
Public outcry on the conduct of some personnel of the Federal Road Safety Corps has prompted the management to adopt measures that will make them keep to the mandate of preventing and minimizing auto crash, as well as clearing distortion on the highways. The Corps is clamping down on bad elements through collaboration with ICPC and DSS to fish out corrupt officials and arraign them for prosecution before the law court. So far, about 180 personnel of the Corps were arrested in connection with different offences on the highways conducted by the Corps. The measures FRSC says is in line with the anti-corruption efforts of President Muhammadu Buhari and to build result-oriented Corps.
This clampdown became imperative in view of the need for complementary efforts of FRSC as a corporate organization with good national investment to join the efforts being made by Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, to protect the huge national economic resources and intellectual property of the nation through the fight against corruption.
A In addition to the breakthroughs recorded in sanitizing the core, a new vista for entertaining issues from the public is provided through its newly inaugurated traffic radio. This is a clear demonstration of firm commitment by the court to reorganize apparatus of the service and maintain professional ethics as enshrined in its mandate. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Workers in Enugu State Judiciary have been advised to remain committed to excellent service. The Chief Judge of the State, Justice Priscilla Emehelu, gave the charge at a 3-day workshop aimed at enhancing judicial process in the state. Amechi Piles reports that the exercise is second in the series of strategic measures to reposition the judiciary in Enugu State.
This capacity building initiative is sequel to a similar exercise held in 2017 where participants were exposed to modern trends on the job to provide service in the most efficient and effective ways. According to the Chief Judge of Enugu State, the impact of the last exercise recorded an improvement in the way workers in the judiciary discharge their duties.
It impacted on the workers, on the staff, because they put what they learned into practice, and that yielded tremendously to the administration of justice.
The 3-day exercise, with special focus on ethics and code of conduct, is to consolidate on the gains of the past workshop and improve on the dispensation of justice without much ado and complicated administrative procedures. The training with the theme, Consolidating on the Promotion of Excellence in Administration of Justice, was designed with relevant topics to develop the entire human capital at all cadre of the entire workforce and service providers in the judicial system. Enugu, Amechi Piles, NTA News.
The Code of Conduct Bureau has organized a 2-day workshop for legislatures of the 17 local government councils in Enugu aimed at ensuring high standard of morality in the discharge of their primary assignments as public servants. The Chairman Code of Conduct Bureau, Professor Mohammed Issa, said the workshop is intended to ensure strict compliance to the codes of public service. Chimaroke Ubu reports.
Code of Conduct Bureau, Professor Mohammed Issa, represented at the workshop by the Chairman of Education and Advocacy Department, Professor Samuel Ogundari, is aimed at sensitizing public officers on the need to abide by the rules and practice codes of the establishment during their service years. He enjoined participants on the need to always exhibit transparency, honesty, and accountability, considering public interest in the discharge of their duties, as well as prioritizing government business over personal activities.
The codes are there, but we want to explain to them. We want to exemplify them. You know, these codes are put in the legal framework, how they can be interpreted when they come into real life is what we also want to tell the public officials.
Other speakers at the seminar explain how important it is for the public servants and civil servants to declare their assets before and after their tenure towards ensuring a sanitized public service system.
Well, it's in the sense that you can never talk too much about transparency, because that's the key to everything we do as public officers. If you're not transparent, then that means you're not accountable.
To put it into practice, to assist themselves not to run foul of the codes, of the ethics of their professions.
The Code of Conduct Bureau is an anti-corruption agency saddled with the responsibility of tackling corruption in the Nigerian public service system. In Enugu, Chimaroke Ugu, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army Women Corps has conducted a free medical outreach program and environmental sanitation in Amojin Nike community in Enugu East local government area of Enugu State at the ongoing Atilogudo 1 exercise held in the southeast. Chidima Madu reports that the program is part of the activities lined up for the ongoing Atilogudo 1 in the southeast.
In order to provide a platform to further strengthen the long-standing civil-military relation between the Army and its civil populace, the Nigerian Army Women Corps conducted a free medical outreach for the public and indigenes of Mojonike. In a visit to the traditional ruler of the community, Igwe Titus Okolo, the Brigadier General Sylvester Oloyede said the program is the vision of the Chief of Army Staff.
The essence is to win the hearts and minds of the civil populace within which we are operating.
The Chief of Staff, Nigerian Army Women Corps, Colonel Dorothy Oje, spoke on the benefits the young girls stand to gain when they join the Nigerian Army, advising the people to encourage their children in joining the Army.
And the mission of the Nigerian Army Women's Corps is to train professionally responsive women who support the Nigerian Army in its operational engagement.
Beneficiaries of the outreach were grateful for the medical kits distributed to them.
I'm very, very happy. You gave us mosquito nets and some drugs for my baby.
The exercise is part of the activities mapped out for Atlogo Udo 1 in the southeast. In Enugu, Chidinma Madu, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Enugu. Is back to Lydia in Abuja for continuation of Nationwide. Good evening.
Thank you, Chinyere. And back in Abuja, the federal government is responding to age-long industrial pollution and ecological challenges plaguing the people of Kano State with the establishment of a central treatment plant for the industrial areas in the state. The project is being funded by the Ecological Fund Office under the supervision of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa. Tarek gives us the situation report from Kano.
This is toxic effluent discharged untreated and uncontrolled into the environment from companies involved in textile, rubber and leather production in Chalawa industrial area in Kano. The people who live around here suffer cumulative pollution of the air they breathe, the water they drink and the soil they live and farm on, with health implications that sometimes lead to death.
More especially the pollutions and waterborne diseases.
This situation is not different in Bompai and Sharada industrial areas.
This water channel collects contaminated water from over 100 tanneries and textile companies in Sharada industrial area. Unfortunately, this contaminated water flows into a lot of streams, even up to River Chalawa, which is a major source of water supply for several communities in the area.
Abdurrashid Samuel, an automobile spare parts dealer, and Abubakar Ismail, both of Sharada industrial areas, they were born into the pollution problem, which is as old as the industries.
Many times after the close of work, we go home with stomach aches from the chemicals we have inhaled, and stomach upset can last through the night. Children and the elderly are mostly affected. We have complained tirelessly, but nobody did anything.
Even you can see scratches in our bodies. So we don't have anything, we cannot sleep. The smell always, it goes around the area.
This joyous mood of the people is in reaction to the federal government's approval of a central industrial waste treatment and management plant costing 2.6 billion naira for the three major industrial areas in Kano. Work is in progress with the laying of pipes spanning 10 kilometers in deep chambers to channel the toxic waste discharged from the industrial areas.
The pipeline and construction of chambers as well is 90% completion. It's just for us to connect to the treatment plant and build the treatment plant. I believe government has really done so much to the Kano people out of this mess they've been in it for the past 2 decades.
Let me use the opportunity to thank the federal government, in particular the Ecological Fund Office, for choosing Kano to site this important infrastructure.
Kano State being strategic to Nigeria's industrialization drive, the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, through its Ecological Funds Office, says it is determined to closely monitor the project to completion and bring to an end the challenge of industrial pollution in Kano. Mitaire Ikwe, NTA News.
States and local governments have been urged to continue to complement the federal government in the NYS scheme for it to achieve the purpose for which it was established. Chairman House Committee on Youth Development, Adeyemi Adaramodu, said this when he visited the Niger and Benue State NYSC orientation camps on its oversight function.
The committee first visited Paiko Orientation Camp in Niger State. It observed that the permanent orientation facilities and accommodation for 1,872 core members were not enough, thereby forcing students of Abubakar Dadi Secondary School Paiko to temporarily vacate the school in order to accommodate the 2019 batch C core members.
There is, however, need for improvement in the response to construction of the permanent orientation camp, hostel accommodation for core members.
The committee, during its visit to the Niger State Government House, stressed the need for all stakeholders in NYSC
to see how far we can go.
At the Wanune NYSC Permanent Orientation Camp in Benue State, the coordinator who took the committee around the camp appreciated the state government and Director General NYSC on the state of facilities at the orientation camp.
This camp has been on a smooth sail since inception, to the glory of God Almighty.
We have been told that this camp is very neat and that we can use it as a model for other camps in Nigeria. And then when now that we are here, we are not disappointed.
The committee chairman urged members to be law-abiding anywhere they are posted and not to be agitated on their future, as the committee is working with the executive to review the social investment program to make it more effective. The Wanune NYSC camp has 1,840 core members currently undergoing orientation to serve the nation.
The Alvino Foundation is again seeking NTA support to change the mindset of Nigerians about people with special needs. To this end, the CEO of Alvino Foundation visited NTA to discuss more. Amina Baba Suleiman has a report.
It is an interaction between NTA and the Alvino Foundation geared towards improving the life of people with albinism and special needs. On this occasion, CEO of the Alvino Foundation, Mr. Jack Apele, is visiting to introduce a new project called EUSDG program, aimed at enhancing and giving equal right to persons with special needs like every other citizen in the country.
But also to introduce to NTA or formally the EU SDGN program that seek to address the gap in the electoral and political processes. The whole idea is to ensure the inclusion of persons with disability, not just for them to vote, but for them to be voted for.
DGNTA, Malin Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, who was represented by the Director Multi-Channels Maimuna Garba, reiterated NTA's commitment to be in the forefront in anything that will improve the welfare of Nigerians, irrespective of their status.
Let me just start by commending you. You've done quite an amount of work in promoting the cause of persons with disability and albinism. I think you've tried, and you're still in the process. So would I say kudos to you? And like NTA has always been at the forefront of promoting inclusion and then the plight of persons with disability.
NTA and the Alvino Foundation have had similar meetings to promote the cause of people with special needs in the past. In Abuja, Amina Baba Suleiman, NTA News.